Hello and welcome back to the Pharaoh's Legion. I'd like to apologize for the slight delay in this program, but I think with the addition of with all the hype for third edition, I have held back a little bit as I didn't want to kind of release a load of obsolete content. But I think I will still release some videos in the very near future, imminently, based on things that need, I suppose, looking at for third edition. I think generally third edition, the legions have been very balanced, and I think you can write a list for each legion that can be out of its comfort zone as well. They all have specific units, but you could write a fast list for an Iron Warriors unit if you wanted to. Not really going towards your strengths, but I think each legion is very versatile, and I don't think you're stuck, and I don't think you're limited to what units you use unless you take a rite of war. I think you can use whatever you want in any legion, really. But of course, because it's heresy, you want to theme it. But I think sometimes, an awesome dreadnought comes out, or a great tank or something, and you think, oh my god, is it fluffy? I don't know, but it's so beautiful. So you've got to get it. Yeah, you can get one and put it in your army, and it will, just put those hazard stripes on it or whatever it is you want to use, and you can have it in there. As far as things like Ruinstorm Demons, I waited for them for a long time. I love them. Mostly for the modeling. I love the modeling. I can't say I don't. I kind of did some crazy things. I might put some pictures up. I might not, because of the conversions and the ideas that you can use models from other ranges. Obviously all Games Workshop if you wish, but you can use your imagination, because they're demons. They are made up of man's imagination of the future or the past or your feelings, whatever it is. So yeah, I love them. I could go on about that for an episode, but as you can see, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm even branding. Mm-hmm. I'm as enthusiastic about third edition as everyone else. I'm hyped about the hype. I'm glad Games Workshop are finally on board with the hype as well. I think leaking your own stuff is definitely the way to go. Kind of leaking it with tongue in cheek. So is it real? Is it not real? It's great. For example, we've spotted the Saturnine kind of range. I wasn't a massive fan. I didn't think it was a good idea when I heard the murmurings some months ago. Seeing the models, it kind of changes your mind a little bit. That kind of Praetor, he looks pretty sexy. Obviously, who doesn't love a new dreadnought? Everyone loves dreadnoughts. That actually looks pretty cool. I'm sure about the Terminators yet? Not really. But when I see them and their toughness, 20 with 500 wounds, yeah, of course I might get a couple. But yeah, interesting. I think it's very interesting. I think it's also a good way to kind of gauge what we want by leaking things, to see if we really do want them or not. I know it helps me, and it helps us also come to terms with things. I think where we've kind of seen it, we're like, oh, I don't know, and then we're like, do I want it? Do I not want it? And then of course you want it. We don't really care. We'll buy all of it. I have tried to slow grow a Salamanders list myself. So it was interesting that Salamanders versus Iron Warriors. I think both quite popular, and I think the Iron Warriors have taken a bit of a beating really recently, because they are a great legion, but like the Salamanders, they don't have any named characters. And I think I know some people think they're overpowered or whatever, but they're supposed to be not overpowered, but they're supposed to have character, and they bring more character to the game. So that's the point of them. Like for example, when I do word bearers, there's so much character that even someone like Corferon, who is not a strong character in the game, but it's Corferon. He's mean. He's super old. He's kind of like a tiny guy in a giant suit, but there's something cool about him. And when he's on the field, he still, there's a bit of fear about him. He's strength 3 or toughness 3, but he's still Corferon. You don't know what he's planning and what's going on. And he's also got his Terminator bodyguard. So he's pretty tough. But I think basically the two legions, they lacked a bit more character. Obviously they've got great Primarchs, and Primarchs have a hell of a lot of character. But you need some of those other guys from the books in there, giving a bit more, I suppose more options really, because your characters can also change the way your legion plays, which is another thing. The point of the characters, they should have an effect on your legion. For example, Argyle, you can take all the Gal Vorbak, and whatever unit he's in is kind of a scoring unit as such. Again, not too overpowered, because you could have a whole army of Gal Vorbak, but they're not scoring, so you have one scoring unit. It's a really good balance, and I'm just hoping that 3rd edition kind of keeps the balance as well as the character, because the game is built on character more than any of the other systems. Or characters, should I say, because obviously the whole thing has character. I didn't want to waffle on too long, but I did. I just let you know, more content is coming. I will go into more detail about different things, and I will indeed speak about 3rd edition hopes and dreams, mostly from a rules point of view, but I will probably touch on a few legions and things that need fixing. One thing I will say, just because it's been kind of on the back of my mind, and I had made a video which I'm going to hold off on, was about the Deathsworn. That's what they're called. The Deathsworn I was making a video on because they're quite strong. They come in with their axes, but they hit last, and they have no invulnerable saves. Space Force were thinking, but we want them to have an invulnerable save, at least survivability, blah, 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 blah. No, I think they had utility. I think you just have to work out what it is that they do. If you start giving them invulnerable saves and making them too tough, then what's the point of Terminators? And then Terminators have to get tougher, and it's kind of a creep of, a one-upmanship. Again, that shows that there is balance, and you're not taking the unit necessarily because it's the best thing ever. You're taking it because of the character. And again, one of my friends, Dave, I can't remember if I showed you a picture of it or not, but I will. He's done some conversions, so he's used the larger, because I think these guys in Mark IIIs and things like the Pyroclasts, because they're a very similar unit generally, are all in old Mark IIIs. With the new Mark IIIs, they look even super sexier. So who cares about the rules? I don't. It's like taking whole units of demons. You can make them, fairly annoying and useful, but they're just naked Space Marines. But they could be cool models, and that's the main thing. When they just spawn. So I'm hoping 3rd edition keeps the character and doesn't mess the rules up too much. But yes, I think I will go into that more on my next video. I'm trying my best not to talk about it all now, but I will tell you what I think. And again, your input, please. And it's not all just my opinion. I am speaking to people in reality, but you, the people out there, I want you to comment as well. Let me know what you're looking forward to for 3rd edition. Thanks for listening. Obviously, like, subscribe, and I will be back.